Okay, so we've discussed some of the complexity of integrating with partners, and so this is a good segue into our next speaker. I'd like to invite Brajesh D, Director of API Management and Integration at Fresh Gravity. Welcome, Brajesh.
Thank you, John.
So you're going to tell us about some of the challenges, but also I hope some of the solutions and approaches to building an API ecosystem. Let's just check that we can see your slides. Great, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, John. Thanks for having me. My name is Brajesh Day, and I am the Senior Director at Fresh Gravity, leading their API management and integration capability globally, and have close to 25 years of experience working on API and integration technologies, and have led many large-scale API strategy implementation for organizations in the finance and telecom sector. So I'm going to be sharing in this session my experience from my practical experiences of how these organizations have been doing in building an API ecosystem, which is a critical thing for them to see the success of their investments in APIs. Many organizations have been already investing a lot on APIs for their digital transformation initiatives, and they have been building a lot of different types of APIs. And typically what they do is they start with implementing APIs for their internal application integration, which helps them to increase their connectivity and productivity. And these are called the internal APIs. And followed by that, once they have seen some good success with developing internal APIs, a select set of them are typically exposed for partner integration, which helps them to improve their collaboration with the partners, and these are called the partner APIs. And a select set of these APIs are further exposed to the open world, and these are called the open APIs. And this is where enterprise typically starts seeing a lot of success, or expect to get a lot of success from their return on investments with APIs, because this is where which brings in a lot of innovation with new business models and help them to increase their revenue. But what we have seen is lot of times, even after so much of investment, organizations are not seeing the expected amount ROI from the APIs. And if you look deep into this, the reason for this is because they have not failed to have a thriving API ecosystem. Let's look at what an API ecosystem is. An API ecosystem, that's basically, I would say, as the engine for your digital transformation. It consists of all the users who are in the API digital value chain. It starts with your API provider, API consumers, app developers, business partners, customers, end users who are using these APIs via their apps. And this is how you would typically see an API ecosystem is, where you have organizations who are providing these APIs to their partners. The partners have their competitors, suppliers, third party, and regulators. And then you have some of the APIs being offered for their customers who build apps. And then you have the external developers who use APIs from your organization to build apps. So then you can have your internal API developers and app developers. These are all part of your API ecosystem. And it's very important that you build a thriving API ecosystem to see the actual success of your API program. So before even we look at how to build this API ecosystem, let's look at why it is necessary. Because within a successful API ecosystem, as you can see, that it helps to increase your partnership with your business partners and others in the business economy. It helps you to accelerate your API adoption and bring in more innovation, because as more and more partners onboard, they look for different use cases to be built around these APIs, which helps you to build new use cases for which will help you to basically provide new digital experiences for your customers and improve their customer satisfaction. So overall, with more and more use cases being built, your API traction increases, and that helps you to increase your overall revenue. As more and more people come on board into your ecosystem using your APIs, you eventually see an increase in your ROI. And that's why it's very important that you need to invest on building an API system, or take basically strategic steps of how to increase the API traction through various channels, through various partners who are part of your ecosystem. So, how can you actually build a thriving ecosystem? Because that's where a lot of enterprise, what I have seen, they first make a mistake that, okay, I have built thousands of APIs. Now I should see the impact of it in my ROI. But what often happens is they don't have a strategic initiative, or they don't have the right strategy, because of which they fail to have an ecosystem around their APIs. So what we will look here or take you through is my experience of having worked with various organizations, and how some of them have successfully built their API ecosystem around the APIs that they have built. So the first thing to do is for building your API ecosystem is to identify your core business assets. Say, for example, if you are a bank, then your core business assets are the banking services, be it providing information about the account information or the transaction information, or if you are an airline industry, it's information about your flight status or flight booking, or if it's in the hotel industry. Your core business asset is about providing information about the availability of rooms and allow people to make reservations. So that's your core business assets. You may have a lot of other assets around these services, but the important thing is to understand what is your core business assets. So having identified your core business assets, it's important to know that what is your customer's need. So you have an asset, but how are your customers going to use it? What is their need? Is it fulfilling the needs of your customer? So for example, if you have a bank, if a bank is providing its own origination service as an API to some e-commerce, say like Amazon. So what would Amazon be looking at? It would probably use the bank services to create to allow their customers to have a loan and pay in EMIs. So that's the kind of service that as a customer of a banking APIs, Amazon or an e-commerce giant would be looking at. So it's important to understand what the customer needs are, and having understood the customer needs, it's important to package your API offerings. So when I say package your API offerings, is like if you have an API for your product catalog, so is just creating an offering with your API product catalog enough, or do you need to provide other informations as well? For example, the API details or things like that. So the product details. So if you have a product catalog, just package an offering with the list of products, that may not be enough. So you need to package with an API which provides you details about the products. So these things should go into one single package when you package your products information into a package. So once you have packaged your and similar things, like for example in the airlines thing in the example, If you are providing information only about your airline, the seat availability in your flight, that may not be the right packaging. You should also provide APIs which will allow you to do the reservations. So that's how you should think about how you package your APIs into a product where you logically group APIs which would be used together to provide a holistic experience to the end users. So, having packaged, it is important that you should make these APIs discoverable and consumable. For this, what you should do is typically you publish them into a developer portal. So, having a developer portal for where you, as an organization, you can publish your APIs, allow your developers to play around with your APIs, understand what the API provides or how the API functions. That's very important. You can use either a developer portal, or there are marketplaces where you can publish your APIs and they can be then easily discovered by different consumers, be it partners or external developers. So you may need to make your API products discoverable and consumable. And when you provide these APIs to your partners, you also should look at may want to think at, okay, how do you monetize these APIs when the users are consuming? Do you want to give it for free for use, or do you want to adopt a freemium model, or indirect model, or a revenue sharing model? So there are different monetization models that you can that you can think of when you are offering your APIs to your consumers. So you have created the package for your APIs. You have made them discoverable. Now, is that enough? Sometimes, I feel that's not enough, because you also need to do some kind of an advertisement as well as hand holding for the consumers. So it is often advisable to get into some kind of an adoption campaign with some hackathons where you invite developers and your partners to play around with your APIs and seek feedback about what they are looking for in the APIs. Is it providing them the required functionality which they need to build their APIs? Because that's where you may have to enhance your APIs based on this feedback that you receive. So it's important that you also need, as an organization, need to invest on creating, having these hackathons or adoption campaigns or some marketing where you can actively get participation and evangelize your APIs with your partners and developers and seek their feedback. Now, having done this, it is also important that you should be able to monitor and manage your API ecosystem performance. So, because now you're providing your APIs as a product, you need to be adhering to certain SLAs around the performance of your APIs, because they are now being used by your partners, your ecosystem partners, and they would definitely expect certain SLAs to be adhered from the API provider. And these SLAs can be around the availability, around the performance, around the response time. So you need to be monitoring the SLAs for your APIs, and also you should also have an eye on the API ecosystem performance. So that is to understand how your APIs are getting used by your partners. So, and how do you typically do that? Is looking at how many developers have signed up into your API platform or in your developer portal, how many apps are getting built, what is the traffic that you are seeing on your API platform. These will help you to understand the engagement of your partners and with your APIs, and that's how you can monitor and measure your API ecosystem performance. So this 6-step process is very important for any organization to adopt, to follow, or to build a successful strategy for building a thriving API system. So coming to the so in this process, there are certain best practices which needs to be followed, and that's what I'm going to be covering here. So in terms of the best practices, first thing that you need to look at is building your APIs which are intuitive and easy to use. And the best practice, without getting into the details, is to adopt a pragmatic REST API approach where you can build your APIs using the REST design principles, using the right verbs, using the right URL naming conventions to build your APIs, and keeping them simple and intuitive for the developers to adopt. Now, having designed the APIs, you also need to make sure that your APIs are protected adequately, because APIs, as they expose your service and data, should be protected from any unauthorized access. Because if you fail to protect your assets, your partners are going to lose the trust that they have on your API. So it is very important that you invest appropriately, build the right security model, a defense in depth approach for securing your APIs while you expose them for external consumptions. Adopting an API management platform is also important, because this helps you to easily expose your APIs and build a partner and onboard your partners in a much more agile manner, and reduces your overall partner onboarding time. So it's instead of building your own API platform, it's always advisable to go with an established API management platform like Apigee or MuleSoft, where you can actually quickly onboard your APIs and publish them using their developer portal, and onboard your consumers or the partners in this ecosystem. Having published your API, secured them, it is important that you have a developer portal in place which provides a good developer experience. A developer portal should be designed in a way that it not just publishes the APIs, it provides a platform for the developers to sign up, onboard easily into your platform, search for your APIs, the catalog of APIs that you provide, understand the input and the output, play around with it, understand how it can be used in their apps, and then use it. And once you have this thing, often investing us on the right monetization model, or choosing the right monetization model, is very important, because of sometimes a pay-per-use or a direct revenue model may not be very attractive. Instead, what we have seen in my experience is start free and then go to adopt a freemium model using a revenue sharing model, are more attractive than pay-per-use or direct monetization models. So choosing based, and this all depends on the kind of data or the services that you are offering. For example, the Google Maps, it's free for use for a certain transaction volume, but then if you are using it for your business purpose, they have a freemium or a pay-per-use model. So such things. So investing on the right monetization model is very important. Monitoring and the API performance and the KPI reporting through a dedicated dashboard, that is very very important, because that's something, as I said, you need to have an eye on for understanding how your APIs are performing. Are there any downtimes in your API that you should be addressing? Is it meeting the SLAs? Are you seeing an increasing trend of adoption of your APIs? So monitoring your API performance for key reporting and trend analysis is something that you should have a good analytics dashboard around your APIs. Last but not the least, seek feedback from your consumers of the APIs and implement them. And there are various approaches that you can do. I mean, from a developer portal, you can request the developers to provide feedback. You get feedback from your hackathons, implement them, in your APIs to make them better, and so as to improve the adoption of these APIs. So these are some of the best practices around usage of your AP, of how you should build your APIs to or build a thriving ecosystem. So with this, I would like to just conclude and say that it's very important that an enterprise really takes a thoughtful approach of building an API ecosystem with proper governance, and they should align their strategy for API ecosystem to their API business strategy so that they can build a thriving ecosystem and really see the benefit of their investments on APIs and see an improvement in their ROI.
Thanks very
I'm
much,
open to take up
Brajesh.
questions
So I
now.
have I have a question actually. So we it's good that you laid out this set, but I think what a lot of people think when they think about APIs is that they've got a system and they think, well, okay, I can get other people to connect to this
Hello,
just by publishing an API. And what I think is important
can you hear
is
me?
I can hear you. So can you hear me? I think you should be able to hear me. Um, so what are you not hearing me? Okay, I'd like to ask
John,
you a
can you hear
question.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you, but can you hear me? You can't hear me. Okay. Um, all right. Well, I think we'll have to skip the questions, unfortunately. Thanks very much, Brajesh, for sharing that. And I'd like to um, pick, pick up on some of those things and with the next speaker. Okay. Thank you.